Welcome to There Is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell, and I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's Fitness Programs, and I've been in business since 1994. Thank you, Jonathan and Lyn Gildon of the Gildon Group at Realty Pros. They currently have over 270 five-star reviews on Zillow, and they are consummate professionals. If you are looking to sell your home or buy something new, give them a shout. I will put their information in the show notes. All right. How are you trending? How are you trending with your fitness? Are you getting better? Are you showing improvement? Have you peaked? Do you feel like you've peaked? Did you peak 2 years ago and you're holding steady? What do you think? How is your fitness trending? What trend should we look at? Maybe a year? What's going on? How are we trending with this fitness? So this all comes up because a colleague of mine brought it up. Sent me a pretty interesting video. And it was basically about trending, So, it's talking about, do we reward the lump sum when the lump sum is hit and then kind of forget about the efforts? Or do we reward the efforts because we're showing progress, right? We can all imagine and guess which is the correct answer, which is, are we trending in the right direction? So I want to talk about that a little bit, about fitness. I think it's very important. Leads me into a little story. We got to be going back about 8 or 9 years now. I was fortunate to be invited out to Steamboat, Colorado, to stay with none other than Gary Jones, the son of Arthur Jones. And Arthur Jones, of course, is the founder of Nautilus Incorporated. And Gary, his son, is the founder of Hammer Strength Equipment, which, and no, they're not one of my sponsors, but they are, in my opinion, the best fitness equipment on earth. I have a few pieces of it. I would have more if I had more room. That's the only downside to them, is they're pretty big. But in any event, I was very fortunate to spend the weekend with none other than Gary Jones, along with another physician friend of mine. And he picked us up at the airport, and we got talking fitness, shocker, right? And me and the physician were kind of going back and forth about metrics and fitness. What are good ways to measure? What should we be measuring? What are SMART goals, meaning specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely? We were going off on this, right? And Gary, with all his infinite wisdom, just kind of like peeks his eye in the rearview mirror. And he says, guys, why don't we just get better? He said it just like that. Just get better. And then he went on to say his famous quote, 1 is infinitely greater than 0. And he hammered that into my head all weekend. And it really made me start to think a lot more about goal setting and things of that nature. Because he's right? I mean, what is the promised land that we're trying to seek, right? I mean, I can't ever remember an event like hitting this major fitness milestone. And I've hit a few and sat there and said, wow, this is enough. That's never happened, right? I mean, I can remember, I guess, my very first milestone was like as a teenager, and I've talked about it before, when I was a chubby adolescent and I lost weight, and, I really wasn't aiming for a certain goal, but like I got down, I was pretty damn skinny in high school, my senior year. And that wasn't enough, I wanted more. I didn't really know what I wanted more of, but I wanted more. I wasn't really necessarily trying to lose weight. I definitely wasn't dieting. If you read my #1 bestseller, you can't outrun a poor diet. You know, it was all about behavior change because I believe in that. It's eating normal foods, just eating a lot less. So, but that's a whole nother subject. But I wanted more. And I guess another major milestone would come later. And I did my first bodybuilding show around 1992, 93. Somewhere around there. I'd kind of procrastinated and put it off for a long time because, you know, I was really camera shy. You know, I was afraid. You know, I was insecure. I didn't want to get up on a stage and, you know, maybe be told I'm not good enough. That was a big fear. So even though I was physically ready for a long time, I wasn't emotionally ready, but I finally was able to talk myself into doing one. And, you know, and I would say I hit a pretty good milestone. I was probably in one of the best conditions of my life. I ended up placing third in a bodybuilding contest in the middleweight. There was a lot of people in my division. I was very proud of that, you know, not bragging. I was very, very proud. I put in a ton of work. I really did. Very consistent, very disciplined. And, but I can remember being up on the stage and going, not only was this not enough, but like, I didn't want to do it anymore. Literally, the night getting my trophy, you know, it was supposed to be a big night. And there was some feeling of discouragement. I don't know. It was weird. I mean, I still remember it, a feeling of like, this is it. And I don't really feel different, you know? So that didn't do it. And then, you know, I've hit others through the years. I got into triathlons and I won a division. I was runner-up one year in a division of a series that went all through Florida and Georgia, the Coca-Cola Triathlon Series. And I came runner-up in my division for the whole state. And then the next year I won the division. I mean, that should be pretty cool, you know? But no, that wasn't enough. I didn't feel very fit. I didn't feel like that was it, you know? So do we bank on milestones like that? I mean, those are kind of like good milestones. And I've talked to other people that have like been through the same thing, you know? And if they win a tennis tournament, you know, they want to win another one. Of course. I mean, it's kind of the way we're wired, I guess. It's part of our DNA. But what if we look at the trends? Like, are we getting better? And you know, when I think back to the two sports that I've competed in the most, and let me think how many sports I've competed in. Well, so triathlon is swimming, biking, and running, right? But I kind of call that one, even though I've competed separately in running and I've competed separately in cycling. And cycling is definitely different than running. So, you know, I have competed in those sports separately, okay? But then there's bodybuilding, which is totally different. So I've competed there. In my early days in high school, and prior to that, I was a competitive tennis player and played in high school. In college, I played some competitive racquetball, so not that much though. So out of those 3 or 4 sports, I'd have to say I can't speak that much about tennis and racquetball because I was young and it's so like, you know, hard for me to kind of remember the overall fitness. I know that I wasn't in the best of shape when I was playing tennis, but that's because I was an adolescent going through a chubbier stage. College, I was in good shape, but if I look at bodybuilding, right, I'd say, well, I was trending in a good direction muscularity-wise, but, you know, I didn't do much cardio. So was I trending in the right health and fitness direction? And then I look at triathlon and you think, you know, it's so often thought of as like the greatest for fitness, but I argue against that a lot from somebody who did it. I mean, there's no question you can be very fit. You can be very lean. You can have a good cardiovascular system. But there's also a lot of injuries associated with overuse and also overuse endocrine system wise, you know, just over fatigued, adrenal fatigues, and also lack of muscularity and eating up your muscle mass, which we know is one of the prime things we should be taking with us as we get older. So I don't necessarily know that I was trending in the best fitness shape that I've been in, right? So let's talk more about that. There are 5 health components to physical fitness: muscular strength, muscular endurance, cardiorespiratory fitness, body composition, and flexibility. Now, there are 6 other performance components. They're called performance components because they really make you a better athlete, but don't have hardly anything, if anything, to do with your health. So I'm going to focus on the health components to physical fitness, because when the question arose or the subject matter arose, we're talking physical fitness and trends. So, this is basically centered around, are we getting more physically fit based on our health and fitness goals? All right. So are we? And if those are the 5 health components to physical fitness, then really we should be continuing to work on our muscular strength and endurance, which we like to put into a category of muscular fitness, because it's really hard to have strength without endurance and have endurance without strength. All right. So we put them together. Are we getting better there? Can we look over the past year and say, I've really improved there? Well, how do I know? Well, you're getting stronger at the gym. You can kind of see it in your body composition as well. When you are adding muscular strength, you're typically hypertrophying, so you are gaining more muscle. But are you getting stronger? So, that's kind of easy to measure, right? And I'm not talking about you need to, do 1 rep max on a bench press, squat, and deadlift. No, you don't need to do that at all. You don't have to turn it into the NFL combine and see how many reps you can get with 225 pounds on the bench press. But are you getting stronger? If you go to a gym, most everybody uses a leg extension machine, a lat pull down machine, a chest press. Are you using more weight than you used to? Or are you using the same weight you used to? And that technically could be trending in the right direction if you're getting older and you kind of peaked in your muscularity, maybe, because we do. That's one area we peak sooner versus later. Our aerobic system tends to peak later. Endurance athletes tend to peak in their mid-40s. Strength athletes tend to peak in their mid-20s. That's a huge difference. That's a 20-year gap. So if you are maintaining your strength as you age, I would argue that you're trending in the right direction. Absolutely. All right. So that's one thing to look at. Body composition. How are your numbers? That's a little harder for people to wrap their heads around because, 50 pounds in the leg extension is a certain amount of weight, right? But what's 25% body fat? It kind of depends, right? If you used to be 35% body fat and you're now 25% body fat, you are absolutely trending in the right direction. If you used to be 15% body fat and now you are 25% body fat, you're kind of trending in the wrong direction, right? And then the other issue is who's measuring your body fat. So there's a lot of variables that we got to sort through with all this, right? Because as a physiologist, I want you to trend in the right direction. I want you to get more healthy. I want you to get more fit. So we do have to be careful about how we're evaluating our body composition. And that's a biggie. That matters. That really matters. Body composition matters. It is 100% correlated to heart disease. There's no doubt about it. I'm not saying it's the underlying condition. It's not. But it is correlated to heart disease. All right? So obesity is correlated to heart disease, right? Not body weight, obesity. So, obesity means how much body fat you're carrying. Ultimately, a BMI of 30 makes you obese, right? Level 1 obesity. But what if you're like an NBA basketball player, 6'4", 245 pounds of muscle? In the old days, I'd have to use an NFL example, but now the NBA guys are monsters, okay? Okay, that guy's not obese, because even the BMI charts state This isn't meant for athletic populations because it doesn't subtract the muscle. So then we do have to use body composition tools of sorts, right? So unless we're getting DEXA scans at a doctor's office, and then the second best would be skin fold calipers, we don't know 100% our body fat because the BMI that a lot of the bioelectrical impedance, BEA, I almost said BMI, the BEA that a lot of people are using, the handhelds, which we use sometimes for simplicity and for some populations. We also use skin fold calipers. But the bioelectrical impedance is not accurate. It's 9 to 11% accuracy. That's pretty poor. Whereas skin fold calipers is only 3.5% standard deviation. That's pretty good. And DEXA is 2, basically, 2 or less, which of course is superior. So unless we're using that, it's hard to know. I mean, if somebody is checking your body fat, it's the same person all the time, then you know. But we have to be careful there. So are we trending in the right direction? So one quick way to assess that is you can measure your waist and you can look at yourself and know. I mean, there used to be that old, kind of funny thing, meme. Well, this is probably before the days of memes, but, guys would say, well, I know, and I just, stand in front of the mirror naked and jump up and down. I know how fat I am. Well, look, there's a lot of truth to that. In other words, visually, you can tell if you're gaining fat. I mean, obviously, it's better to get scans and things like that, yes. But we are going to know if we're gaining body fat. Are we trending in the right direction? Sarcopenia is age-related muscle mass loss. Okay, that's a real term. But they don't talk enough about why that happens. Age-related. Oh, I'm just getting older. I'm supposed to lose muscle and get fat. No, that's not it. Okay, it's age-related, yes, but age-related because we get so far more sedentary than we were when we were younger. So I wish they take age out, but they can't because the trends show that as people age, they get more sedentary. So, there's that. But it doesn't have to happen. Studies also show that 95-year-olds can go through hypertrophy, gain muscle. So it doesn't have to happen. We don't have to have age-related muscle mass loss. And you're thinking, well, Rob, what are you talking about? We're talking about body fat gain. So am I. Because that's what causes the body fat gain. We lose muscle. And muscle is metabolic. So we don't want to lose that muscle. So it drives me nuts when people get on low-carb diets and things like that. Or they diet at all, that they don't focus on just eating better. And having better behavior around foods. No, they diet and restrict. They lose 10 pounds and 7 of it is muscle and water. 3 pounds of fat. That's not the healthy way to do it. We don't want to lose muscle mass. We just don't. And we don't have to. If we continue to work out with weights, resistance training, we will keep the muscle on our body. So how are we trending? My, triathlete and endurance friends out there, How are you trending? Are you sure you're getting more fit? Or are you sure you're holding on to your fitness? Sure, you might be winning races. But is that the be-all, get-all? Are you trending in the right fitness direction? Are you holding on to your muscle mass? Are you maintaining a good cardiovascular system? Are you keeping your body composition good? Or are you abusing yourself too much with too many miles, not eating enough, losing a lot of weight, a lot of it being muscle, and then if you get injured, you're going to gain a lot of body fat because you don't have the muscle. That's not trending in the right direction. Are you maintaining your flexibility? Because so many athletes out there have horrible flexibility. Oh, it's just age. It's just gender. That's not true. I mean, I don't have great flexibility, but I don't have awful flexibility either. A lot of times people are amazed that I'm a guy. I can touch the floor. I was going to say I can touch my toes. Yes, I can, but I can also touch the floor. It's not because I'm gifted flexibility-wise. I am certainly not. Ellen, my partner in crime here at the gym, now that's gifted flexibility-wise, okay? She's one of those that can like put her head between her knees and all that and palm the floor and all that. No, not me. But in fairness to her, she also works at it. But I work at it, you know. In between my sets when I'm working out at the gym, I stretch. That's when I stretch. And I do them very mindfully. And I work on my areas that I really need to. Hamstring flexibility, quad flexibility, calf flexibility, hip flexor flexibility. And yes, I'm trending in the right direction on that. I'm not losing flexibility. In fact, this year, it's March now, I'm more flexible at this point in March than I was in December of 2022. So I'm trending in the right direction. I don't have a be-all, get-all goal of what I'm going to hit flexibility-wise. I know that for me, maintaining and getting a little bit better in flexibility is trending in the right direction. So I challenge you. I ask you. I don't know if I sorted anything out for you today, except maybe to start this conversation. So first off, what conversation did I start? What really is physical fitness? Because we hear it all the time, right? We hear it all the time. And I think so often people have the wrong mindset of what physical fitness is, you know? I mean, physical fitness, I guess if we were to draw it up, it's somebody who has really nice muscles that can also move through them gracefully because they have good flexibility. And they have nice toned muscles, you know? So they have good body composition. And then they can like walk all day, or they can, you know, go up flights of stairs, and they can, if a friend says, hey, we're going to plan a bicycle trip, you know, they're all for it. They can do it, you know? So notice I didn't say winning events or anything like that. I mean, I've seen unfit people win events, you know, because they're just better than the people there. And that happens in every sport. There are unfit boxers, you know, that might be the most unfit boxer in the ring of the two and win because they're simply a better boxer. So it's not all about winning, right? So the conversation I think I started is, what is physical fitness? So I kind of drew that picture up, you know, somebody kind of toned, or no, definitely toned, moving fluently, being able to do the things they want to do, maybe looking younger than their age. Maybe that's another good definition. Maybe not so fair because it depends on where we live in the sun and those types of things. But I think you get the idea. And then secondly, are we trending in that direction? Are we getting more fit? Are we collecting trophies? You know, and I'm not trying to bash any particular sport. I think every sport can be guilty of it. You know, I got friends who do CrossFit, close friends who do CrossFit. I mean, great. I think it's a cool sport. It's not for me, but I think it's pretty cool. Why do I think it's pretty cool? Because it gets people off the couch and it gets people excited about going to the gym. And I've seen a lot of positivity there. That's why I think it's cool. Yeah, I have my own opinions about it with injury risks and all that, but that's just me as a physiologist and me personally. I don't down CrossFitters. I have, like I said, some good friends. But not all CrossFitters are fit. So, you know, I'm not trying to pick on endurance athletes, or, you know, it's really, are we trending in the right direction? And what metrics are we using? You know, what metrics are we using? And I think that's just something I want you to think about. You know, am I getting better? You know, maybe it starts with keeping some sort of a fitness journal, whether it be, you know, on your Apple Watch, which logs everything back into your phone, or maybe you're doing it, you know, the old-fashioned way, hand to paper, whatever. But, you know, maybe we start there, kind of do a little self-evaluation, say, you know, I don't feel overly energetic anymore for my age. I'm not as strong as I used to be. Yeah, my cardio's okay because, you know, I walk 4 miles a day, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it might be, write it down, evaluate it. And then just tell yourself in these areas, I want to get better. And don't leave any out. You know, you don't want to be imbalanced. Don't leave any out. Don't, just do one thing. Don't leave things out. Do all 5 components. Body composition begins in the kitchen. There's no question about it. Muscular fitness obviously is in the gym. Flexibility can be at home or in the gym combined. We combine it at my gym. Cardiorespiratory, sure, it can be at the gym. There's nothing wrong with indoor stuff. But, it can simply be walking, running, whatever. But, do it all. Do every bit of it. I think one of the issues I had when I was doing pure bodybuilding, and when I say pure bodybuilding is when I was in my 20s, is the only time I started to do cardio was 2 months out of the show, or maybe 10 weeks, and I needed to do some. We do that to burn body composition, body fat. And so me and my friend who I trained for the show with would meet at the gym. We'd sit on the life cycles and spin at level 1 from, I think we started at 20 minutes and built all the way up to 50 minutes per workout. And back then I thought that was just so long, so I didn't do cardio. Now, when I've done shows as a master's athlete, I wasn't like that, because I've seen the light that balance fitness is so much more important. And I don't care if some of the, the old boomers would say, oh man, doing bodybuilding, you can't do cardio, you're going to waste away your muscle tissue. And I'd be like, dude, I want to be overall healthy and fit. Okay. I don't care. I'll sacrifice a little of this if that happens, which I don't think it does, but I'm going to do all of it. So I think my big issue then was that it was so one-sided. So don't have a one-sided view on fitness. Figure out where you are and tell yourself, in all these areas of physical fitness, I want to be better. I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. And keep that up the rest of the year. You might surprise yourself of just where you are. All right. All right. Thank you, chiropractic physician, Dr. Doris Antos of Ormond Beach. She's a graduate of Palmer College in Port Orange, and her office is on Granada. And word has it, she's accepting new patients. I will put all of her information in the show notes. Until next time, trend in the right direction and be max fit, be max well.